Okay guys, welcome back. Right, what I want to talk about today is the contrast, the new contrast under deformation. So I've got this little model here, and you might notice that down here under the deformation tab we have a little contrast button. Now this is a little gem of a slider, because what it will do is it will push out or push in based on contrast that it sees on the model. So this can add, you can, if you're, especially if you're 3D printing and you haven't quite got that height, the right height, you know, there needs to be a little bit more of a contrast between the lowest point and the highest point. This contrast slider will increase that. And so what that means is it will give you more height when you're printing out. So you might do a test print and without having to resculpt all of the surface detail and pull it all out, you might get away with just using this slider. So let's have a look at it and see what happens. So I'm going to take this little slider and I'm going to start to move it. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the detail start to push forwards. Now obviously you can always go too far. I'm going to push this right out now, like this, and you can see it's pushing that contrast. So that's what I've got. So instantly I've added that contrast. This is what the model was like before, you know, and this is what it's like now after I increase that contrast. Now adversely, I could take the contrast and reduce it down, so it will actually knock it back a little bit. So this is like something that you would see or you would do in using things like layer control, where you're layering and you can push the detail and push it back. So now we've got this amazing ability of being able to use a contrast slider in here to really push those things forwards or back. So you see that you could actually run this a couple of times. I could take this right up to here and then I could go, okay, I'll do it again. You know, you can keep pushing it, but then it sort of breaks. It'll give you quite a nice look, but it kind of breaks, and you've got to watch that you don't have problems where you probably need to smooth it off a bit, where actually geometry is overlapping or anything like that, because it will eventually kind of overlap itself. But as a tweak, this could be an amazing little tool to use, so because it's globally doing it to all. Now remember, like everything in ZBrush, you can mask areas off and you don't need to tweak all of it. You could just tweak certain parts of it, you know, just using that. So you could just use that, mask it across, move that across, and then unmask it, and you can see we've got that across there. So very powerful, this new contrast slider under Deformations tab inside ZBrush 2021.5.1.